Everybody listening, I wanna see you dance. I don't think you heard me, I wanna see you dance. Get up and dance, get up and dance.
Welcome back to our fourth and final segment on Local Licks with our incredible guest, Gary Ballin, who is in his second full hour of Local Licks content, and he's also been gracious enough to be willing to come back on, everybody, and do a bonus Licks on our various websites, and you'll want to tune in and hear some of the content he's going to share after that. We just came in with Destiny's Child, and we just exited the last segment with Bone Thugs. Gary, let's just pick it up there, and I'm going to give you the keys to the car.
Well, yeah, while I was working at Ruthless, we got a phone call from this group from Cleveland called Bone Thugs and Harmony, and they wanted to come out and audition for Eazy-E, and Eazy kept putting them off and putting them off and putting them off, and finally we had an NWA show in Cleveland, and Bone came to the show and rapped for Eazy, and Eazy signed him right there.
Wow.
So, but these guys were so rough. I mean, they were living on the streets of Cleveland in a real rough area, and I think they were selling crack. And I mean, these guys were off the hook. And so they took a Greyhound bus to California, and my job was kind of to try to keep them under control while they were recording and everything. And they would get kicked out of every single hotel I put them in on Ventura Boulevard and Sepulveda. I mean, every hotel. 3 or 4 days max they would last. We'd get the call, have to move them somewhere else. But they were so great. They were so fresh and new, you know, and they got to be, you know, they won a Grammy with Crossroads. And, you know, they got to be really great. And eventually I managed the Flesh and Bone. While I was managing Flesh and Bone, I managed, while we were recording his first record, I got a call from the studio owner and said, Gary, you got to come down here and meet this kid named Damon Elliott. He's Dionne Warwick's son, and he's a great producer, very musical guy. So I go and meet him. The day I meet him, he plays me 8 or 9 tracks that are incredible. We play him for Flesh and Bone and Lazy Bone. And so I started managing him, and he ended up, he worked with Beyonce, Destiny's Child, Pink, Jessica Simpson, Maya, ODB, and we had about 12 or 13 songs in major motion pictures. So it was a kind of a first time I ever managed a producer, but it was great. It was a great experience for me. And at one point, Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles, tried to steal Damon from me. And,
really?
Yeah. But Damon wouldn't go for it. But I said, look, maybe we'll co-manage you because he's got a lot of clout. This is when Destiny's Child was a #1 group in the world. And so for about 6 months, he put me on a retainer to start a production company managing producers. And so I brought him will.i.am before the Black Eyed Peas because he was a friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
And the Underdogs. I had all these great groups lined up, and but Matthew kind of got so busy he let the thing fall apart. So.
And you know, as I'm just thinking to myself here, and all the time you've told me all of this content, you're still doing solo performing
every week. I was playing every week.
It's almost mind-numbing what you've told me, and you're still performing. It's unbelievable.
You know, that was always my first love, and it still is. I just love playing and singing and entertaining people, and I still do it up to this date. But back in those days, it was cool because, like David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, he was a friend of mine for about a month, and he came and hung out at Pickwick Pub where I sang.
Yeah.
Air Supply, when I worked for them, they came to Pickwick Pub. Eazy-E and Bone, they'd come to Pickwick Pub. So, you know, I'd have all these local gigs, and when I wasn't on tour on the road, I'd be playing, and these guys would come in. Actually, Jimmy Fallon, when he got his contract with Saturday Night Live, he celebrated at my club, at the Pickwick Pub where I...
Oh, for gosh sakes.
And I didn't really know him, but this guy got up and sang with me, and we were doing, you know, I was Paul, he was John,
yeah.
He was George, I was Paul. I mean, perfect harmonies, and it turns out it was Jimmy Fallon, you know, and, you know, it's crazy how life directs you.
It's amazing, and I know I'm going to say it again, but this all started at Eastmoor High School in the late 60s.
Well, it even started
Yeah.
It started in Cleveland, and it went to Fairmore. Actually, Fairmore is Fairmore and Eastmore Junior, but yeah, Eastmore was a big part of it too. Columbus, I love Columbus. I'm still a huge Ohio State fan. It's the only team I care about, really, the Dodgers and Ohio State. I don't even have a pro football team I care about, but I love the Buckeyes, and I love my friends. I got like hundreds of Facebook friends from Columbus. I still keep in touch with people, from elementary school to now, and no, I'm enjoying my life out here. I got a lot more going on too that we haven't even. Well,
yeah, we're going to touch on that on the bonus looks, but I want to give you these last couple of minutes to talk about the water company you're working with. Do you mind sharing a little bit of that insight over the next 2 minutes? We'll give you a free plug.
Well, thank you. Yeah. About 5 years ago, my mom had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and a nurse friend of mine told me about this water called Kangen water. It's like a 44-year-old Japanese company that makes a water ionizer that changes your tap water to alkaline, antioxidant, microclustered water. And it's been used in hospitals in Japan for over 40 years. And so I got it to help my mom out, but once I kind of got into this water thing, this is something everybody in the world needs. We have the best, healthiest water in the world. And so I decided, I'll keep singing and playing, but I'll do something that I can help my friends and family out. I can make money, make a living doing it, and that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 5 years. And it's been a great income, and it's great to see friends of mine that are fighting cancer, diabetes, or have arthritis or eczema or whatever. Water is kind of the source of everything. So, it's called Kangen water, Kangen water.
Okay.
And I'm very passionate about it.
Well, do you see it as used arthritis as an example? You see it as something that actually helps the individual suffering from arthritis?
Yeah. Well, not only arthritis, but I mean, and you can use it. Different pH levels do different things. Some are to drink. Some are for cleaning. Some are for disinfecting. You could get rid of all of your cleaning chemicals in your house with one water machine.
Okay.
So it's something different.
Wow.
And do you have a couple more seconds?
Yes, you sure do.
And here's the other thing I'm working on now, which is a major thing in my life. It's a documentary on the Negro Baseball Leagues.
Really?
It's called The Untold Truth. It's called TheUntoldTruth.com. I'm working with Lou Gossett Jr., the actor, Dee Gordon, baseball player, a couple Major League Baseball players, and we're working on a documentary on the Negro Leagues, which nobody knows anything about except for Jackie Robinson and Satchel Paige. But hopefully this year we'll have the movie made, and I kind of want to move into a producer role and start with documentaries and maybe go from there.
I just love the fact that through your entire life you've always wanted to improve yourself in a manner that no one thinks to do. And now look at this. Now you're looking at movies and you're promoting water, and you've got all these connections to people you've worked with. I'm telling you, buddy, you really should just sit back for a minute and take a little bit of pride in. I got to deal with you. When the circle gets out to L.A., how would you feel about having a bite to eat with me?
Well, we'll jam together. Are you kidding? I'll book you guys a show, and we'll have some fun.
Okay, that's a deal, and that's a promise. We'll get back to you on setting something up, because I would love to meet you in person. And when you come back for your class reunion, I'm going to make sure Don White and I are together with you from our band, and we'll have some fun.
I've been singing that Red Rubber Ball song for years.
Well, you have? Well, then we thank you for that as well. So I'm getting the sign here. Man, everybody tune into Bonus Licks. Gary, thank you. God bless you for coming on and doing what you've just did for Local Licks. You've added a real notch to our belt, buddy.
Hey, my pleasure. I love you, Columbus. Always will. My home.
Thank you very much, everybody. Gary Ballin, you've been listening to Local Licks. We will see everybody next week.
Truckers care. You love Jesus. Go down, I break for it. Females want it. Same water shower. Don't follow me. Complains the driver. He has it just to your head.
welcome back to what is known as Bonus Licks. You have hopefully listened to both hours of our remarkably special guest. Gary Ballin has been such an informative person for not only his days here in the Central Ohio area, but a remarkable career with NWA and Eazy-E, and the names are just going on and on. Gary, it's a wealth of experience that you've exposed yourself to in your lifetime, and we just came in with.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm old. I'm old. So
well, I'm approximately your age, and I wish I had some of the experiences that you have. And I think I've lived a full life, but you have left me at between home and first base. So it's incredible, and folks, they're posted, as you should know. So go back and hear hours 1 and hour 2, and of course now you're on Bonus Licks for those that have been listening to the live broadcast. And we brought Mariah Carey in to open this. Do you mind telling us a little bit about your exposure to her?
Yeah, well, one thing I didn't get a chance to talk about in the 2 hours is another one of my high school friends, Ron Anderson, who I went to Eastmore with. We played football together, and we had our first apartments together on the Ohio State campus. He started a company called Anderson Mobile Estates.
Okay.
And he kind of he used to be really big in the tour bus business. He had all Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, all the biggest stars in the world. And then he sold his company. He went on a cruise with his wife and kids. Just cruising the world, and then he thought of this invention while he was on a cruise, which is a 2-story trailer, like a semi, where you press a button and it goes up 2 stories, and then it pops out 4 ways. So it's the biggest on-location star trailer in the world, and these are like $2 million each. It's opulent. So he started this with Will Smith.
The Will Smith?
And the Will Smith, yeah, him and the Will Smith started this. He had people like Jamie Foxx and Mariah Carey was one of our clients, and I got to meet Robert De Niro, and it was pretty incredible. And I also brought in Simon Cowell from American Idol.
Sure.
Randy Jackson was a friend of mine from the past music business. So through Randy, I met Simon Cowell, and he ended up with a trailer. So, I just kind of wanted to throw that in too, which was another Columbus contact, which got me involved with a lot of cool people. I also Ben Stiller was one of my clients also.
Amazing. Yeah. Man, oh man. Well, when you were doing your live show still, but that wasn't paying the bills. What'd you do after NWA broke up and say from about the mid '90s on? What did you do after that?
I've never worked a regular job. I've always been an independent contractor, basically. So I always had different income streams. My singing was always one. I do a lot of private parties. People from the old days, not Ohio, but people from out here in California.
Yeah.
You just come and see me. I still am constantly playing for them solo, which is good. So I do a lot of that. And then, I've done management in the past. I did the trailers. For a while, I was a producer in a Beatles tribute band in Las Vegas.
No.
Called Fab Forever. Okay. And then called Fort Lads in Liverpool. So we had a house gig at the Four Queens in downtown Vegas. And it's funny, I ended up on a national TV show called Judge Karen.
I don't know that show.
Website. It's called... Judge Judy contacted me first.
Okay.
They wanted me to be involved. I had a suit with the bass player. It's the Paul McCartney guy, and the Paul McCartney guy fell in love with the girlfriend of the George Harrison guy. Okay. While we were on, while we were playing. So these guys were ready to kill each other at any moment. So I had to fire the guy, but it turned into a TV show, which is funny. It's on my website, actually, GaryBallin.com.
Yeah.
So I got to open some shows for Jackson Browne and Ben Harper, and Then I also did some work with a girl named Erica Jane.
All right.
I don't know if you ever watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Well, I haven't, no.
I don't watch it either, but she's one of the housewives.
Okay.
She's also a singer, and she sings. She's had, I think, 9 of her last songs were number 1 on the Billboard Dance Chart.
Jimmy Christmas.
So
okay.
I went out on tour with her. This was a gig Jerry Heller got for me as her road manager, sound man, merchandising guy, and this was all for all gay clubs all around the country.
No kidding.
So, yeah, which is a whole nother.
Yeah.
I never did anything like that before.
Nope.
That was funny. So
it makes me wonder
and
too.
her
Were you in
husband-
that club in Orlando that had that terrible shooting? Did you guys make a stop? there?
No, but those are the same. Those are the kind of clubs we played at.
Yeah, sure.
And her husband was a billionaire named Tom Girardi. He was one of the lawyers that won the Aaron Brockovich case.
Okay.
So he was, and she didn't do it for money. She's a billionaire. So we go to Miami, we go to New York, we go to, Phoenix, whatever. So, but it was all gay.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. So I did NWA, I did gay, I just a whole variety of things, which I like to do. But one of the main things I really like to do is volunteer. Also, by playing at VA hospitals.
Oh.
I've done a lot of volunteer work too, since I wasn't in the service. I kind of decided years ago that I'm going to try to
Pay back.
help the veterans. So
Yeah.
I did a lot of that stuff. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what I've been doing.
Incredible. We joked about you should have a documentary made about you. I can't believe the story you have shared with us. It's amazing.
Well, I'm not done yet. I'll tell you what's going to happen is once we get this documentary for the Negro Leagues, it's called The Untold Truth. Once we get this made, that'll hopefully put me in a whole different category.
Okay.
Just a different world, basically. And maybe at that point, because I'm far from done. This water keeps you young. So I'm a very young 65.
Good.
I feel sometimes like I'm 16.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I drink a lot of this Kangen water. I'm working on my documentary, and I'm still singing 4 nights a week here, locally. So I'm staying busy, and I got a great girlfriend, a Filipina girlfriend I've lived with for the last 4 years, and, a very happy life.
If they did a documentary, that would be one thing. If they did, let's say they did one on Eazy-E, which you would definitely have to be in that film. Do you have anybody you'd like to have play you?
Don Rickles. But I think he's dead. So
Yeah, he's going to be a tough one to get now.
Yeah. No, I never thought about who would play me.
Oh, I thought you were teasing. Okay, I see what you're doing, but I don't know. I just think that the Eazy-E story should be told, and I think yours now needs to be told too. In fact, I think cousin Jerry Heller has a whale of a story.
Well, you know what? Actually, Jerry wrote a book called Ruthless, which is all about his life. I've got another cousin of ours that is in the movie business that has been pitching that movie. It was almost made. Before Jerry died, he was almost ready to sign a contract to make the movie on him, which is kind of like a Forrest Gump of, him starting in rock and roll, going through rap and the whole thing. A lot of stuff happened during Jerry's life. Unfortunately, when he passed away, we kind of couldn't do that. But you never know what's going to happen in the future. I just did a documentary for BET called The Death Row Chronicles. So that's supposed to be out in February.
Okay, I'll be watching for that.
About the NWA and Suge Knight stuff. And I did a documentary called Facing Suge Knight for National Geographic channel.
I watched that, and that's one that everybody should see. And you were very good in it. You were really, really good. There was a storyline in there where Suge Knight goes into your office and says, "You're not showing enough respect," I think he said.
Exactly.
Would you mind recreating that one for everybody here listening on Bonus Licks? What happened? And
this was what happened was when Suge started talking to Dre and talking Dre into leaving Ruthless.
Yeah.
But Dre was making so much money. Dre always had the same cars, the Easy BMWs. He always lived in the same kind of mansion that Easy had. Dre was being treated very well, but he got kind of greedy, and he wanted to be part owner of the company.
Okay.
But Easy owned the company.
Okay.
So Suge started gangstering us. He started coming with his Bloods. He was one of the Bloods to our offices in Woodland Hills. And so Jerry called one of his buddies, this guy named Mike Klein, this Israeli guy, who is a serious dude, way more serious than Suge. So Klein comes into the picture, and things are really tense at the time. And Klein's they're having a big powwow at our office, and Suge is there, and Klein's there, and Jerry's there, and Easy's there, and I'm sitting in my office, and Suge walks in and closes the door behind him, and he walks up to me and he says, "Man, you've been disrespecting Dr. Dre and Michelle, man, and I ain't happy about that." And I said, "Man, what do you mean, Suge? I do everything for them. I love those guys. I work for them all the time. I help them move into houses and buy cars and stuff." He said, "No, man, you've been disrespecting them. I want you to write on this piece of paper, you're never going to disrespect them again." And I said, "I'm not going to do that." And he walks right in front of me, and I'm sitting in my chair, and he's got a gun in his pants. And he said, "You know what I'm going to do if you don't sign it."
Wow.
So it was kind of the first time in my life I ever backed down from anybody.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey, it's Suge Knight, so I guess it's okay to back down from him. But, you know, he was just playing me and punking me. And
Yeah, he was trying to just intimidate you.
well, which he did very well.
Yeah.
But what happened was, after that meeting, I think Mike Klein told him that if the threats still continued to happen, he was going to be chopped up in little pieces and put in dumpsters all around L.A.
Wow.
So that was the end of that.
Yeah.
So at that point, they negotiated. It was an override. You know, they started Death Row. Easy made money on everything Death Row did. You know, we kept recording. You know, so we had Bone Thugs. So we kept moving. We didn't, you know, that it slowed us down, but it didn't stop us.
Sure.
But then Easy dying, that was the end of everything.
That's unfortunate. What a loss to the industry. Terrible loss. Terrible loss. So, well, Gary, it's been nothing short of fascinating. We want to thank you for as busy a day and as busy as man as you are. You took nearly 2 hours out of your day to not only do 2 hours of show on air, but another 15 with us here on Bonus Licks. I can't wait to shake hands with you, buddy. It's going to be...
Yeah, me too, Pat. I really appreciate this opportunity. It's good that I can, get the word out to, my friends and family back in Ohio and around the country. And, if people want to contact me, my email is BALLENENT@AOL.
Yeah.
My website is GaryBallin.com.
Everybody, Gary Ballin, Eastmore High School, Fairmore Junior High, Athens, Ohio, resident for a while, a fascinating career in Los Angeles. Gary, thank you once again for coming on our show.
Thanks a lot, Pat. And next time when I see you, I'm going to play you Red Rubber Ball.
You got a date. You got a deal, buddy. Thank you so much, everybody. And have a great day, everyone, for tuning into Bonus Licks.